There is a resource in your business that is more valuable than your time, more finite than your money, and more determinative of your results than almost anything else you could name. It is not energy exactly, although energy is part of it. It is not focus in the conventional productivity sense either. It is attention, the quality of present, directed awareness you can bring to the things that actually matter in your business on any given day. And most builders are hemorrhaging it without knowing where it is going. I noticed this in my own business during a period when everything looked fine from the outside. Revenue was stable. The work was getting done. Nothing was obviously broken. And yet, I was ending every day feeling like I had been running at full capacity and accomplishing half of what I intended. The days were full, but the forward movement was slow. The effort was high, but the output felt muted. I started tracking where my attention was actually going. Not my time, my attention. Where was the quality of my thinking being spent versus where I intended it to be spent? The gap between those two things was one of the most revealing things I had ever seen in my business. Most of what was consuming my best attention had nothing to do with the things that moved the needle. It was low-level operational noise. Questions that should have had documented answers. Decisions that should have been made once and codified. Fires that existed because the system had no way to prevent them. Relationships that were generating friction because expectations had never been clearly set. None of these things were dramatic. None of them individually felt significant. But collectively, they were consuming the resource that my most important work depended on. Attention is not uniform. This is the thing most productivity advice misses entirely. You do not have the same quality of attention available at every moment of the day or for every type of task. Your highest quality attention, the kind that produces genuine strategic insight, creative problem solving, and clear decisive judgment, is available for a limited window. Maybe 2 to 4 hours at its peak. After that, it degrades. Not because you have stopped working, but because the resource has been depleted. When the operational noise consumes that window, the strategic work gets whatever is left, which is usually not much. You end up making your most important decisions with your worst thinking. You end up doing your most valuable work in the margins of the day, when the margins are all that remain. I restructured my entire day around this single insight. The first part of every working day became protected for the work that required my best attention. Not email, not client questions, not administrative decisions. The work that only I could do and that produced the most leverage. Everything else got pushed to the second half of the day when the attention was lower grade and the cost of the noise was smaller. But the deeper fix was not scheduling. The deeper fix was reducing the total volume of noise that was competing for attention in the first place. Every recurring question that landed in my inbox was a signal that a process needed to be documented. Every decision I was making repeatedly was a candidate for a framework that would make the decision automatic. Every relationship that generated friction was a signal that expectations needed to be reset. Every fire I was putting out was evidence of a prevention system that did not exist yet. The goal was not to eliminate all operational involvement. The goal was to ensure that the things consuming my best attention were worth what they cost. That the attention I was spending was purchasing something proportionate in return. Most of it was not. Most of it was purchasing the maintenance of a status quo that could have been maintained by a system rather than by my personal cognitive resources. There is a second layer to this that most builders never address. The attention drain that comes not from what you are doing, but from what you are not doing. The unfinished things. The unmade decisions. The conversations you are avoiding. The problems you are aware of but have not addressed. These things do not just disappear from your mental landscape when you are not actively thinking about them. They sit in the background consuming a low level of attention continuously. Psychologists call this the Zeigarnik effect. Open loops stay active in your mind until they are closed. And most builders are carrying dozens of open loops at any given time. Closing open loops is one of the highest leverage attention recovery strategies available. Not because each one is individually significant, but because the cumulative drain of carrying all of them is enormous. A decision made, even an imperfect one, closes the loop. A conversation had, even an uncomfortable one, closes the loop. A system built, even a rough one, closes the loop. Every closed loop returns a small amount of attention to the pool. Enough closed loops, and you start to notice the difference in how much capacity you have available for the things that matter. The attention drain nobody talks about is not laziness. It is not poor time management. It is not a lack of discipline. It is a structural problem. The business is designed in a way that routes too much of its operating load through your personal cognitive resources instead of through systems and processes that can carry that load without your direct involvement. The fix is structural. Document what should be documented. Decide what should be decided once and not repeatedly. Build the prevention systems that eliminate the fires. Close the open loops. And protect the window where your best thinking happens with the same seriousness you would protect a client commitment. Your attention is the asset your entire business runs on. Treat it like one. Next, we are going to look at something that makes this harder than it should be. Why consistency itself starts to break down over time, and what is actually causing it. I will see you tomorrow.